What's up, guys? Welcome to the Peer Review Podcast. My name is Caleb Davis, and I'm accompanied by my co-host Brett Sherwood.
Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Good to see you.
So, before we got started, we wanted to start off just by giving brief introductions into our goals as far as the podcast and also in general. And then we were going to move into how we met and kind of why we decided to go ahead with this project. So, to start us off, I am a current senior at Michigan State University studying business, but specifically supply chain management. I am very involved on campus as a student worker, different leadership roles, and socially. And then outside of campus, I am a very, very big traveler. I love to move around. Some places that I've been this summer include Canada, Mexico, Australia, Chicago, Atlanta. So I've just been trying to move around as much as possible,
Mr. Worldwide.
while we're young and turn. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then adding to this, I love I love making sure to have a balance because I think that's important in life, and that's kind of my philosophy as it goes with everything. So kind of having that healthy balance between like school, traveling, working in the community, like I said, leadership roles, and just everything that kind of falls under those parameters. As far as the podcast goes, I've been sitting on the idea to create a podcast for about a year now. I have become like very immersed in sports, especially as I've gotten older, because I kind of feel like that's one of the big talking points as you get older, because you kind of run out of things to talk about, you know? So I'm a very, very huge basketball fan. I love basketball. My favorite NBA team specifically is the Miami Heat. I'm not a huge college fan, but I'm starting to pick up more and more as the years go by. But I also enjoy football and track and field. Just for reference, and I played football. I was a free safety, and I ran track. I did pole vault. That was like my specialty, so that was very exciting. Love talking about that. But moving on, both Brett and myself are also using this platform just as a tool to hopefully grow and expand upon our knowledge of sports, because nobody's perfect. We always want to continue to grow and improve, and it's just fun to talk about sports, be able to get on here, connect a little bit, and just see where it takes us. Outside of that, I'm a big fan of a few podcasters, but I'm going to specifically highlight, I love Jason Timps with the Hoops Tonight podcast. He covers specifically NBA, but I just love hearing him talk basketball, break things down, go into the analytics at times, and just give his perspective. And then I also love the Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, who I'm sure a lot of you guys watch, but I just like that feel of being able to kick back and just socialize a little bit and just something a lot less serious. I love listening, discussing, and debating. I think it's very, very fun. And yeah, over the summer, like I said, I've been sitting on this idea for about a year now. So over the summer, I kind of decided, like, yeah, I want to go forward with this. And I came to Brett with the idea. And I think a few of the reasons that kind of brought me to him, one is my respect for him. I know he's a hard worker. He goes to, like, I'm going to let him save some of this for his intro, but I know he's a hard worker. Like, I see the work he's put into everything in his life and just his achievements as a whole. I have a familiarity with him because we go way back, all the way back to elementary school. And then I didn't mention this to him, but kind of his foundational knowledge. I feel like I could come to Brett with anything. Like, ask him a question about any topic in the world, and he's never gonna give you an "I don't know" response. Like, he always has something to say, and which I just think that's such a great skill to have. But that's just a little bit about me.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that's just a little bit about me. I'm now gonna pass it over to Brett to introduce himself and just talk a little bit more about how we met and his goals as a whole.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Caleb. Really appreciate that, man. But yeah, happy to be here. Very thankful to be on this podcast with you, co-hosting this, and to talk a little bit about my background. So yeah, I'm a business administration major at the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan, rising senior. Go Blue! If any of you are Michigan fans, I'm
Yes,
gonna.
bro.
My bad. Yeah, he gonna get me for that one, but. I'm going to be going into consulting, strategy consulting specifically when I graduate. And as far as sports go, Really, I got hooked in basketball ever since I watched the Miami Heat in the 2013 NBA Finals, and I saw Ray Allen hit that game winner in Game 6. Like that, it's something about that like electric atmosphere. It really like was like wow, like this is like super entertaining. Like this is super fun to watch. I see why like so many people are drawn to this, and I realized that like when I was like 10. So I was like really been into it ever since then. I've been a Lions fan my whole life too. The good and the bad, the 0-16 seasons, the Jim Schwartz years, or Jim Shorts, as some Lions fans affectionately called them. With Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford, all those guys. But and to the success they're enjoying now. So I really, you know, feel like I grew up with the team. So it's been really fun to see them have success now. And yeah, I'm involved in a plethora of things at school. Most notably, right now, I'm a resident advisor for a learning community, focus on exposing non-art majors to like being creative and arts and combining that with also being excellent in the classroom. And then I'm also part of an organization called Heads Core, which is a social org for Black men. We do different programming and conversational-based activities through different programming at the University of Michigan. It's really fun. I'm also the finance chair for the Black Film Society, and I'm also helping produce a documentary about
Told you guys, he's active, putting in
at the
work.
University of
Yes,
Michigan.
sir.
Yeah, man. Hey, I just I love what I do, and I love my community here. I love all of my friends, and it's like I can never say no, right? So it's like it's to do what I can to progress myself and to progress my village forward. And yeah, so I have my hand in a lot of different hats. When I'm not doing that, hang out with my amazing girlfriend Lauren. Shout out Lauren. She'll be watching this soon probably. Playing Xbox with the boys. You know what I'm saying? Shout out ESB. Our clan
Yes,
goes way
sir.
back. We've been playing together since we were probably like in middle school. So, but yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And Caleb's very, very extremely talented, driven guy. Couldn't say no when he asked me to do this podcast. I thought it was a great idea. Really wanted a platform to do this on. So I was like, why not? Let's do it. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for over 13 years, and we met when we were like in third grade back home. We've been locked in since. You know what I'm saying? We did chess club together. We were in like a Lego robotics class. Like we were always in like the little like gifted, I guess,
The
like kind of
nerd
classes
classes.
together, the nerd classes, yeah, so to speak. But yeah, it was always a good time. Yeah, man, like he went to a different middle school, but we always kept in contact. We always continued to play the game together. We used to. I remember we went elite in 2K Pro in 17. That was a lot of fun with those guys back then. And we used to go bowling, skating, whatever back in the day. So yeah, I mean, we go way back, and it really is cool to be able to do this with him. And seeing the work that he's doing now to still want to be engaged with this is really cool. The work that he does with the multicultural business org that he's doing at Michigan State, it's amazing. I think it's really important to push DEI into the business facet of Michigan State. So that's really cool. And to get into some goals that I have personally for the podcast, I really want this to be a space that feels like a community, And I'm not, I don't claim to be some sort of sports guru with 20 years of experience, like I'm like Stephen A. Smith or something like that. But I really want to learn from the audience, and do my own research as well. And I look forward to expanding my knowledge base on sports that I might not know that much about, like baseball or hockey or soccer. And just enjoying that, and just really want to have fun with it. And talking about, what we do know. So yeah, so I was like, let's make it happen. I think that I'm really excited to be a part of this journey with you all, and I hope you're just as excited to tune in to what we have in store.
I mirror pretty much everything Brett said. He specifically touched on some of our micro goals that we have in common. I'm going to kind of zoom out and just touch on our macro goals for the podcast as a whole. One of our biggest goals of this is to create an engaged community. Love seeing like channels and having their like it becomes a family, whether you believe it or not. And I just want to hit that point and have a community where we can talk about sports, we can joke around, and just everyone's engaged. We want to create excitement. Hopefully, open it up to having guests in the future. Just bringing about new ideas, and specifically and especially taking in your guys' feedback, because you guys are the people watching. So obviously we want to take in and kind of learn and grow with you guys and see what you guys like, see what you don't like. So we really appreciate you being active and responsive. We also want to provide analysis on players, not just players, but players, teams, schemes, and just kind of our overall thought process on sports that we're watching. So we're going to go through analytics, we're going to go through the eye test, and just give our raw and honest opinions. And then also, and lastly, we kind of want to open it up to having post-game reactions and sometimes even in the future live game reactions, just so you can see it in person and you can kind of just get a better feel for us as a whole, our personalities, our thought process, and just kind of how we view sports and through our lenses. So that is all I have for that. I'm now going to hand it back over to Brett to kind of wrap us up.
Yeah, for sure. And beyond that too, some other things we discussed. We're doing some lists and rankings, like for who we think is the top contenders going into the season for the NBA and the NFL and other leagues like that. So we might do some fun lists, and then that way you guys can send in yours as well, and maybe you might see yours in the show, and we could talk about it, what our thoughts are on that. So I think we have a lot of ideas in the cooking in the pot right now. So I'm excited to see where we take this over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to the very first episode, the pilot of the Peer Review podcast today. Please share this podcast with all of your friends and family as well, and follow us on _P_R review _P pod on X, and then on TikTok at the Peer Review Podcast to stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. And we also personally monitor all of our accounts, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Again, as Kaleb mentioned before, let us know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Want us to cover different topics or different sports? Let us know in the comments. And thanks again. This is the Peer Review, signing off.